Good morning, friends. Welcome to another vlog. Today is my monthly reset day. This is a day that I set aside each month to set up my next month, and that means planners, it means putting together my family calendar, going through my goals, all of that kind of stuff. I do have my list today. I've been kind of in and out of planners as of late, so I'm just using a list today. The things that I have on my plan for my monthly reset are my family calendar, personal calendar, a checklist for a vacation that we're planning, my March goals, spend tracking and budgeting, and also updating my book journal. So each month it is a little bit different what I end up doing. This month, March, is the beginning of the end for our homeschool year. We will finish up a large portion of our homeschool this month, and then we will have a little bit more to do in April, but hopefully the bulk of what we need to get through will be this month. I do need to start looking at 2024-2025 planning. I do actually have that on my list. It's not under my monthly reset, but it is something that I'm going to be considering today as well, partly because we use Sunlight and we have for 13 years now. So they change over into their new curriculum on April 1st, which means prices typically will go up. And so I am looking at what we have, what we need. I'm kind of all over the place for next year because Emma only needs an English credit to graduate. And we're thinking maybe of doing AP psychology as well. Potentially, we'll see. Jack is not going to be doing classical literature or church history through Sunlight. Lucy, I have pretty much everything that I need for her, except for like workbooks, math workbooks, and spelling, that kind of thing. You'll have to excuse me, I am still sick, so my voice is not 100%, but I am looking forward to this last month of the quarter and trying to just wrap my head around the end of our homeschool year. I don't know how much I'm going to have, I don't know how much time I'm going to have for goal-related things this month, so we will see. But first, I'm going to make myself some breakfast and then hopefully get started on the day. Emma is still asleep. We're all still not feeling 100%. Today is a little bit of a lighter day for me for homeschool. This whole week actually has been. Last week was our homeschool break and we had a good Monday and then everybody got sick. So most of the kitchen is clean. I think I'm going to do most of my planning out in the dining room, so I just need to clean off some of the art stuff and school stuff from the table that was left out last night, and then we will get started on the day. Yes. Okay, so I have the table all set up with all of the things that I'm going to be working on today. I'm going to take you through and show you the different planners and things that I'm going to be working in. It may seem like a lot, but it helps me keep things straight to have all of these different notebooks and such. So just keep that in mind. Just because I have a lot of stuff does not mean that you have to, or if you like to work out of separate notebooks for different areas of your life, that's also okay. This is just what works for me. So this is our family command center calendar. It lives in our kitchen and I put everything related to everything on it. These are the book lists for my kids, my two older kids, for their history and English. I just want to make sure that I'm where we need to be with books so that we can finish up history and English at the end of March. I have the Life-Giving Home Experience and Rhythms of Renewal. These are part of my goals. I have my Real Simple magazine that just came in the mail that I will probably look through. This is my Erin Condren Life Planner. If you watched last month's monthly reset, I was trying to use this common planner, which I absolutely love this planner. I think it is awesome, but it is just too small for me. If they had it in a larger size, I would use it. But because this is not working for me, I need to move back into my life planner. So I have that. I also have my teacher planner, which is for homeschool planning. And I did have somebody ask me recently, why I use this instead of the homeschool planner from Erin Condren, and the biggest reason was the homeschool planner just came out last year, and it came out in July, and we had already started our homeschool year at that point. So I had my teacher planner all set up. I'm not sure what I will do this year. It kind of depends on launch and what they have, what changes they make. I really love this planner because it is dated, and I think that that is very, very helpful. I am going to be doing some planning in here today, working on my lists. I have my book journal and my goals, which I need to do. And then back here, this is my goals notebook, my content planner for work, my old book journal, which I will update as well. This is my financial planner, which is a monthly Erin Condren. And then I will also be going through some of the home planner weekly projects as well. So that is what I'm going to be working on now. It is about 9:15. I just called the dentist to make sure that I had the right appointment date for Lucy, because I thought I had written it down, but I didn't, and I couldn't find the slip. So I have that. And yes, so now what I'm going to do is just work on getting all of the dates on our big family calendar, and then once I get that done in my personal calendar, I'll have time to kind of start doing more of the thinking tasks, more of the considering of homeschool curriculum, and just timeline for goal stuff this month, and just making some plans for what I can accomplish with goals. February was not as great of a month. I will leave a link for my March goals in the description box if you're interested in seeing that. February was not as good as I had hoped because we got sick, and that is what it is. You just have to kind of move on when things like that happen. But I am hopeful that I will be able to get some stuff done in March. There's not as much time as I would like to actually work on stuff, so we shall see. Okay, so I am done with my personal calendar and the family calendar. I always feel better when those things are done. Now I'm actually going to sit down and start working on some homeschool planning. I have to decide what I'm going to order from Sunlight before the end of March, because April 1st is when all of the prices change for the new curriculum. So I kind of have to go through the catalog, which the digital catalog is available now, to see what changes there are going to be in the different levels, if there are any changes. I don't think I'm going to be purchasing anything for Jack. And then I do want to get, I think, the British literature course for Emma, which is the one that she wanted to do for English next year. And then I need to talk to her and see if she wants to do psychology or not. They're both really expensive programs, and I think it's because they are part of like an AP, like they prep you for AP English and composition test and then the psychology AP test. So I kind of have to figure out if we're going to do those or not. Maybe borrow some of the books from the library for Emma's British literature, although they're all really good books, so maybe it wouldn't be that bad to have them. I'm not sure. I don't know, because I don't think that Jack will do this course. Maybe down the line Lucy will in another 10 years, but we'll see. Emma is my classical literature girly, just like her mom. So I don't know, maybe having those books will be nice just for me. But that is what I'm going to do next. So it is about 11:15 right now, and I've been working on homeschool planning. It's a lot, it really is. It's a lot of planning. I pulled all of the books that Emma and Jack need to read before the end of the year, both for history and for English, so that is done. I started looking at the books for next year. I need to go and find my level E instructor's guides for the books that I have, because the last time we did fifth grade was, well, the last time I purchased fifth grade curriculum was when Emma did fifth grade. And so there have definitely been changes, and I know that there are going to be some book changes for next year. So I have to figure out if I want to wait and get a new instructor's guide after April 1st, or if I want to get the old version and have it before April 1st. The struggle that I've run into over the past several years since COVID is that when I wait until April 1st to order the new curriculum, most of the stuff ends up being back ordered, and I do not get it until after our school year starts, or so close to our new school year starting that I just don't have enough time to go through the materials. I really take a lot of time like in May and the beginning of June to wrap my head around all of the books and go through the books and go through the questions in the instructor's guides and all of the notes and stuff, so that I'm really prepared when we start our homeschool year. But when I don't get the new instructor's guides, I think Jack's level 100 I got right at the end of June last year, or it might have been the beginning of July, and I had to like fight to get that because they weren't going to send it until something else. There was like another book that was back ordered that wasn't going to be out until September, and that would have thrown my entire year off. So we'll have to see. And I'm also trying to figure out if I want to purchase all of the books for Emma's British literature course, because all of those books are available at the library. I could definitely get them at the library. And the course itself is like, I don't know if I'm paying for the fact that she could take the AP test after she finishes this course for potential college credit or what. It is a lot of books. I don't know if I want to go through the hassle of getting the books from the library. I shouldn't have any trouble getting them because they're all older books, so it's not like they're new releases that are on a wait list or whatnot. So, but then also having the books on hand makes it easier for me to prep for the school year. Honestly, I don't want to spend that amount of money on an English course for her. It seems really ridiculous. Yeah, that's where we're at right now. I haven't really gotten much past doing geography with Jack next year. I think that's what we're going to do for his history, is do geography with a course that I purchased a couple of years ago for Emma, and we started it, but she was just overloaded with a bunch of other subjects, so we did not finish it. So I probably will do that with her as well. I don't know. There's a lot of decisions that need to be made this month pretty quickly. So that is a check-in. I think I'm going to make myself a snack and then hopefully get Lucy going with some of her school. I do have my live stream this afternoon, so I have more time this afternoon that I can focus on research for homeschool stuff, which is what I will probably be doing. I also want to get my goals done and my tending list done so that I can do that video for tomorrow, so that I can get all of my goal stuff done before March 1st, which is ideally what I will do, but I haven't even brainstormed it, so we'll see. We'll see. I'm down in the basement because I just went through and looked to see all of the books that we have for level E for Lucy for next year. We do have all of the books. There are a few that I'm missing from the shelf, so I need to find those. But I think there's only one new book that I don't have, which I'm really pleased about because my level E is from 2016. So it's possible that I need to get a new instructor's guide, but I do need to do a little bit more research. But I think there's only one book that I need to purchase, and I may or may not get it depending on whether or not it looks interesting to me or not. So I'm really happy about that. I'm a little frustrated that I am missing a few books, but I will find those soon. All right, it is about 11:45. My husband actually came home about an hour ago because they lost power at work, so It's thrown off my morning a little bit. I just did math with Lucy and she's working on her copy work. Emma is taking a Spanish test and I am going to figure out what I'm going to do for lunch and then get ready for my live stream this afternoon. I showed you a little clip of our books in our basement. I was able to get through the level ebooks that we have, and I do have all of the books, so I'm really happy about that. I need to figure out if I want to get a new instructor's guide. You can get them 50% off if you've purchased a level before, so sometimes it's good to have an updated version. I will just have to kind of go and see, because like I said, mine is from 2016, so I probably should update it, but I'm not sure if I will or not. I've gotten quite a bit done this morning. I'm feeling good about that. I have not done my goals yet. I wanted to do a top-down video and record it, but I may just sit down and work on my goals and then film it after the fact. We'll see. We'll see. But first I'm going to make some lunch and then see if the afternoon changes or if my husband's going to be home for the rest of the day. It is 1:30 now. My husband just left to go back to work. Definitely derailed several hours of my planning day, but that's totally fine. It was nice to have him home for lunch. Right now, I am going to start looking at my goals. I am still unsure if I'm going to do them during my live stream. We have a co-working live stream every week where we choose a project or a hobby or something that we want to work on and use the Pomodoro technique of 25 minutes of focused work followed by a 5-ish minute break to make progress on the things that we want to work on. So I'm going to go through a little bit of the preliminary prep work for my goals, which I'm going to share in just a second. And then we will see. We will see what I get done. I kind of need another cup of coffee, so my voice is definitely not doing that great. But overall, I am pretty happy with how the day has gone so far. There are definitely some more things that I want to get done, but I have made a pretty good dent in the homeschool preliminary planning, just trying to figure out exactly what we need. So that's good. I'm hoping to actually finish that up during our co-working session as well. It is so windy here. I'm hoping that we do not lose power. Crossing my fingers. But I'm going to show you kind of how I prep for a month. I have had a few questions about that, so that's what I'm going to do now. Before you even get to the monthly pages and the power sheets, there is this live it out section, and it kind of goes over what the different sections within each month are: the monthly calendar pages, the monthly planning pages, and the tending list. And then it does go through a few ways to create a tending list. Some of the terminology doesn't necessarily match the power sheets. Monthly planning pages is the monthly reset section. So what I do at the beginning of the month is I will come in here and write down anything big that is going on in my life. I do not use the calendar in the power sheets because I have other planners, and so I don't need to use the calendar for anything particular. I have seen people use it to track things, to track where they are at with their goals, to put certain deadlines on the calendar, but I don't use this section for that. If there are deadlines or things that I need to deal with, I will put them in my personal planner, and I use an Erin Condren Life Planner for that. But what I do here is I kind of summarize all of the big things that are going on. And the reason that I do that outside of my goals, not just goal-related things, but all of the things, if there are appointments, if there are vacations or days off or things that we're doing outside of the house, like field trips and stuff for homeschool, or if we have testing or anything at all that is going on, I do put here so that when I am sitting down to work on my tending list, I can refer to this and say, okay, well, I know that we're going to be traveling for a couple of weeks, so I'm not going to have that time to work on goals. Or we have an extra week off from our homeschool, so I'm going to focus on using that time for goals. So that's kind of how I use this section. This is new this year, the Cultivated Life Evaluation Check-In. Sometimes I do it. I did not do it last month. You can just kind of go through and give yourself a rating on how you feel like you're doing in these different areas. And then if you have your own category that you want to fill in down here, you can do that. You can relabel these if you have relabeled them in your Power Sheets. These are more of just a check-in for me in these different categories of my life, but I tend to only do it quarterly. I don't necessarily come in and use this as it is written. So once you have everything written down here, you can either come in and use the calendar section to write all of these important to-dos and different ideas, things that are on your calendar in this monthly calendar spread, or you can ignore it, or you can use it for something else like tracking or whatnot. And then you get into the break it down in the attending list pages, which are the things that I do every month. These are the things that I tend to work on with you guys when I'm going through and doing my goals each month. So the break it down section, typically what I will do is I will take one of my larger monthly projects. I don't call them monthly goals, I call them monthly projects, and then I will come over here and kind of go down through the different steps. So for instance, for declutter, I have declutter here, but I have all of these projects that I want to work on. Now, obviously, these can be broken down even further. These were just kind of like the base things that I wanted to get done for decluttering, and it was all more surface stuff, not necessarily the deep decluttering that needs to be done. It's just the starting point, but I understood that, so I didn't need to break it down more. Same thing with the home management projects. I had home management projects over here just listed, so I knew when I'm giving myself credit here, I'm referring back here. So that is what I have to do now. I'm going to kind of go through and do this monthly reset section and then sit down and write out my goals. I don't know what to do for this month because we have a lot of things going on and not as much time for my goals, the goals themselves. So that's where we're at. But I am feeling really good about how my monthly reset day has gone overall. There are definitely things that come up throughout the days. I did have somebody ask me if I do school while I have my monthly reset day, and the answer is it depends. When my kids were younger and I started implementing a monthly reset day during the week, I would not do any school with them. They were still expected to do their reading and their math and their copy work, but that was much more independent. If it was something that they needed a lot of help from me with, then I would not have them do it. We don't do read alouds or history, anything that requires a lot of mom's help. Now with Emma and Jack in high school, they're able to do the majority of their work on their own without needing me for anything. Lucy still does have her stuff, but I'm not reading history with her or doing read alouds today, but she did her copy work and her cursive and her math. So I'm going to make myself some coffee and then get ready for my live stream, which starts in about 45 minutes. Okay, so I have everything ready for my live stream. I try to have a bunch of things to work on so that I can figure out what I want to do after I start chatting with everybody. I go through the books that I'm reading and books for homeschool that we're going to be working on, and then I think I am going to brainstorm goal stuff and then also work on my book journal. One of the things that was on my February tending list was to create a fiction TBR, and I haven't really done that. I do have a bunch of lists, just random lists, when I see books on Instagram, or if I see like a lot of books on Kindle Unlimited, either I will add them to a note in my notes app, or I will add them to like a to be read list on Amazon, or I'll just download them to Kindle Unlimited. But I really struggle with coming up with a TBR for fiction because I'm such a mood reader. Nonfiction, I've been doing really, really great with my reading with regards to my goals nonfiction TBR list that I created in January. But for fiction, it's like I will have a list of books and I will try a book and it'll be okay. And I'll read maybe 15-20%, but I'm just not into reading it at that point. It's not necessarily a book that I don't want to read. It's just not one that I want to read right that second. So what ends up happening is I will read a bunch of samples or a bunch of like the beginning of Kindle books, like 20 to 30% of the Kindle book, and then I will go and look for something else. And so I finish a lot fewer books when I'm doing that, obviously. So I'm going to go through Goodreads and see if there are any new books coming out, and then check a couple of other places. I like to watch a couple of ladies on YouTube who do like TBRs, like what they're reading in the next month, and so I will go and check those out because sometimes they have indie books that I'm really interested in reading that I haven't heard of because they are indie books. But that's where we're at right now. I'm going to make myself some coffee and then get my live stream started. Okay guys, I just finished our live stream and I got quite a bit done. I'm really pleased about that. I have not done my goals yet, but I am going to try and do that now. I'm going to record them. I did realize that I do not actually need to have a fiction TBR. I think I've been trying to force it because I always want to have books available to read, but as I sat at my desk during the live stream, I realized I already do put down new releases in my book journal each month from authors that I've read or books that I've seen out, and I really don't need a TBR in addition to that. Yes, there are always going to be books that are, older books that I may want to read that come up, but for the most part, because I update that new releases section with books every month, I really should just use those books as my TBR. And I've also kind of just thought, well, maybe I am just a mood reader, and that is what it is. The whole goal with having the TBR was to kind of reduce the amount of time I'm spending reading samples or like 20% of a book, but I don't think that having a TBR would change that because there are very few authors that I read everything that they write. So a lot of times it really just depends on the book and what the book is about, whether or not I like it. There are some authors where I really love some of their books, and really don't like other books. So it really just depends. But I'm going to wrap this up here. I do have to finish up my goals, but I'm feeling really good about the day. It was thrown off a bit when my husband came home, but overall I think it was quite a good day. I do have a ton of stuff that I have to still put away. That's all the stuff that I was using during my live stream. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you do have questions about how I run my monthly reset day, definitely let me know in the comments, or you can email me. My contact form is always in the description box. If you'd like to check out some of my live streams, I would love for you to come over and check out my membership community. That link is also in the description box. But again, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks guys. Bye.